welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Diana, and today I wanted to sit down and make a video on the moon signs and how to tap into that emotional fulfillment, because your moon sign, in my opinion, is the most important part of your birth chart. It tells us about how you're going to naturally react to situations, what you need to feel emotionally secure, and how sometimes you can emotionally distance yourself from other people, which can really affect your relationships. So I wanted to make a brief video going over all 12 moon signs and kind of like pointing out some behaviors that you guys can change to kind of live a more fulfilled life. I already made videos dedicated to each of the moon signs for characteristics in like previous years, like 3 years ago. So you guys can go back and find those on my channel. This one is just gonna be a more broad perspective, because of course everything, you have to look at everything in your birth chart, right? What house is your moon sign in? What aspects does your moon sign receive? And that's gonna paint a little bit of a different picture for you. And if you want to book a reading, I do offer readings on oneloveastrology.com, and all of that information is below. Additionally, I'll list some websites where you guys can find your moon sign if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, or you can find your birth chart for that matter, because there's a lot to astrology. And as you guys probably know already, your sun sign is not super important, especially when there are other things that can make things a little bit more integrate. I don't even know what I'm saying. Anyways, integrate. Why did I just suddenly forget how to say that word? Oh my God. Okay, so let's talk about the moon in Aries to start off. What the moon in Aries needs to realize is how sensitive they really are. And it's not like sensitive in the manner that they're going to be crying all the time, but it's that at any inconvenience they can get this sudden heat or impulse to react to situations, or get super offended if things don't go their way. And because they want to project this image of being so independent, that can really sabotage relationships, because then their needs don't get met. So what a moon in Aries needs to start doing in relationships is expressing the way that they feel a little bit more, and not be so quick to react all the time. In one-on-one relationships, they need to talk things through, say their needs, and also ask how the other person is feeling as well. Don't make it all about them all the time, because once you ask another person how they're feeling, or what happened in a situation, instead of jumping the gun, then they're more prone, the other person is more prone to welcoming you with open arms, so that you don't get so sensitive about it next time. So then the moon in Taurus. The moon in Taurus really needs to let go of the need to conserve and conserve money all the time. They need to be more open to the possibility of letting money flow in and out as far as like universal needs. To let go of any ideas that are counterproductive to making money. For example, if you think that, or if somehow it was instilled in you that you only can make money down a certain path, but that's not working for you, or reach stability going down a certain path, you need to let that go and be open for the universal flow of ideas on how to make money and stuff, because moon in Taurus people can sometimes become maybe a little bit shallow or materialistic, in the sense that they look for tangible things that other people can offer them. So what the moon in Taurus needs to understand is that, like, if the moon in Taurus were to take away everything tangible and everything that has to do with material things, what is left? Like, what is actually really enriching about other people that doesn't have to do with tangible or materialistic things? They have to kind of form that more emotional connection versus materialistic, or seeing somebody as possessions. They have to form a more enriching connections with other people, which can be hard to do because the sign is very, very stubborn. Now let's get into moon in Gemini. Moon in Gemini people, they are typically known for being very flighty. they are very, like, there's a part of them that is very curious and wants a lot of, almost like they get bored easily. So when your moon is in Gemini, what you really need to start focusing on is building deeper connections with people through communication. Now, a lot of times they can sometimes have this behavior of wanting to go back and forth, you know, talking about different subjects and not really listening to the other person. So they need to kind of form a bond or learn to form a bond with other people and relationships where, you know, they talk on a subject and they ask the other person for their opinions and they stay on that subject. They need to practice the ability of getting deep into mental stimulation with other people instead of just getting bored and deciding to leave the relationship. Now, Moon in Cancer. Moon in Cancer is here to let go of attachments that they have to their family members and clinginess, because when they develop these clinginess to other people, or, you know, wanting people to protect people so much instead of surrendering that kind of control that they want over their family members, then they end up kind of pushing people further from them. And the other thing that happens with Moon in Cancer is that they can really self-sabotage relationships by only caring about their emotions and their sensitivities, instead of, you know, nurturing and caring about others sometimes, because sometimes their emotions are all consuming, that until, you know, they are happy, they're not willing to make other people happy. So no, what Moon in Cancer needs to kind of, they need to, in a way, let go of the unhealthy bonds that they have with other people and leave that up to God. Let God take care of them so that they can then take care of themselves. And when they focus more on themselves, then there's more of that more healthy, nurturing quality they can give out to other people when other people come to them. A Moon in Leo. Moon in Leo needs to come to the realization that it's not about what others can do for them. It's about what they can do for others without, you know, the, without the intention of getting attention. Because normally a Moon in Leo, subconsciously, they go after anything or they do things for attention. And that really robs them from actually being in the moment and being able to love other people the way that the other people need to be loved. A Moon in Leo only wants to love their way because they think that their way is going to give them the attention that they need. So Moon in Leo needs to be open to having fun or developing close childlike relationships with people on their terms. And then unexpectedly, they're going to find that they get, you know, these compliments or these words of affirmation because they're not looking for them. They're actually being very unconditional with their love. That's what they really need to learn. Now, the Moon in Virgo. The Moon in Virgo really needs to let go of superficiality. They need to realize that there's no perfection in this world, and their way of doing things is not necessarily going to go well with other people. So instead of looking at people from a perspective of a judgmental attitude or a critical attitude where they're analyzing people on what they're doing wrong or how their posture is, or, you know, how they talk or walk, they need to realize maybe that they're just uninformed, you know, and from them go from like a really pure place in their heart and tell them, like, give them the information, of course, and from a very pure, unconditional place of love, because what that's going to create is a better feeling. Moon and Virgo people are here to serve people, but they're here to serve people from a more pure place in their soul than a superficial place in their mind. The Moon in Libra. The Moon in Libra needs to learn how to be more assertive, because then they can get really unbalanced and get really aggressive. So a Moon in Libra needs to kind of stop trying to keep the harmony, well, at least because that's their ultimate priority, to keep harmony of the other person, but that's not going to create harmony within the relationship, because a harmonious relationship is where both needs are being expressed and both needs are being respected. So they need to learn on how to speak their needs in the sense that they can. So the moon in Libra really needs to more worry about creating a harmonious relationship instead of disbalancing the relationship by putting another person's needs before theirs, because ultimately that is not a peacemaking relationship. That's somebody who's passive aggressive. Moon in where are we at? Moon in Scorpio. They need to let go of manipulation. And Moon and Scorpio people out there, you know that there are different ways that you do this. Sometimes you use your seduction or your sexuality to keep people kind of wanting you, and you kind of take their power away. Sometimes because you're so intelligent, you try to outsmart people with your deep intelligence so they can keep coming back for more and therefore deplete them of their power in a way. Someone in Scorpio needs to learn to share powers, and instead of trying to make somebody fall in love with you and be really committed to you really fast, or getting in relationships where there's a lot of like themes regarding unrequited love, then you need to, use communication and talk to a person who wants to have the same, who the end game is the same, who has the same goals as you as far as relationships go, because that's what's going to create a deep connection and intimacy that you really crave. And there's no rush. You have to build things slowly, and that might be hard for a Moon in Scorpio to do because they're also Mars ruled. Moon in Sagittarius. A Moon in Sagittarius carries a lot of wisdom naturally, but sometimes they can become really dogmatic in their beliefs. So Moon in Sagittarius can become really moralistic, which can really create a lot of relationships where there's not, they're not aligned on the same levels of truth, or they feel like they're not equally yoked. So Moon in Sagittarius needs to kind of guide the person into finding their own truth without necessarily giving them the answers or putting in their 2 cents. And that's what's going to make them feel more emotionally fulfilled. And then the Moon in Capricorn. A Moon in Capricorn person is normally all about control and authority. But what a Moon in Capricorn person needs to realize is that, and a Moon in Capricorn really craves recognition and to be really well respected. And they're not going to get that by shoving their authority in people's faces or being really intimidating. Instead, they're going to get that from kind of teaching people or helping people find the authority and the discipline within themselves, and helping building people up, because then people are going to respect them, because then they're going to operate from a higher level of integrity, and people are going to look up to them, and then they'll get the level of recognition that they want, I guess. Moon in Aquarius needs to stop being so detached, and they kind of do that purposely because they're kind of used to relationships with groups of people or friends. So they can self-sabotage relationships by creating drama in the relationship because they don't want people to kind of get too close to them. So they use that as their defense mechanism so people can kind of keep their distance in relationships. But what they really need to start doing is inviting people in through love and romance, and from there, through love, they can meet with people and achieve similar goals for the betterment of the world or the community, or their something, and achieve a goal maybe that's larger than the relationship themselves. A Moon in Pisces. A Moon in Pisces really needs to start developing practical ways of looking at things. They need to start developing a lot of routines, because that's what's going to keep them from seeing, or that's what's going to give them the good practice that they need to start seeing things from a logical perspective and not see things too far ahead in their imagination or things that are not in reality, because they can get really disappointed in people when people don't behave to what they thought they were going to behave like, whether that's good or that's bad, or wearing rose-colored glasses, or kind of seeing the worst in people. So they need to really see reality for what it is. Going to fulfill them emotionally is listening to other people through their, like, talking about their, you know, emotions and venting to them, because that's what's going to bring back their healing energy that they probably had in their past lives, and that's going to be able to you know, they're kind of vessels for a lot of people to kind of clean a lot of people out from their negative energy. So anyways, guys, that was my quick little description on how to get emotional fulfillment from your moon signs in relationships. Please let me know if you have any questions, and leave suggestions for videos down below. Have a great day.